Atlanta, Georgia, 1915. In a bank vault downtown, a yellowed piece of paper holds 7 ingredients. Nobody knows all of them. Not the company president, not the chemists. Only 2 people know the complete formula, and they never travel on the same train. But a secret written on paper doesn't make soda. To turn paper into liquid, you need cane sugar from Louisiana, dried leaves from South America, nuts from an African tree, water filtered 3 times, and carbon dioxide compressed to 100 pounds of pressure. In 1915, over 1,200 bottling plants exist across the United States. Each one produces Coca-Cola. None of them knows the full recipe. This year, something's going to change. A bottle is about to be born. A shape you'd recognize in the dark, even with your eyes closed. The syrup isn't made at the bottling plants. It's made here, in Atlanta, at the Coca-Cola Company headquarters. A red brick building on Marietta Street, 3 stories, tall windows. No sign tells you what happens inside. On the ground floor, copper tanks the size of wagons. Inside them, heated water dissolves mountains of granulated sugar. 10 pounds of sugar per gallon of syrup. The ratio is exact. One worker measures with a brass scale. Another records it in a black-covered ledger. The sugar comes from refineries in New Orleans, arrives in 50-pound burlap sacks. Each sack is weighed twice before entering the building. The Coca-Cola Company doesn't trust anyone, not even the suppliers. On the second floor, a locked room, only 3 men have the key. This is where Merchandise 7X is born, the heart of the formula, a blend of essential oils that gives Coca-Cola its unique flavor. Orange, lemon, nutmeg, coriander, cinnamon, neroli, orange blossom, imported from Italy. The oils are measured in drops, not spoons, not cups, drops. 20 drops of orange oil, 30 of lemon, 10 of nutmeg. Precision is absolute. The oils are diluted in grain alcohol. The mixture rests for 24 hours in amber glass jars. Then it's filtered through paper. This golden liquid is the 7X. 2 ounces of it flavor 5 gallons of syrup. Yes, Coca-Cola uses coca leaves. In 1915, it still does. But not the way you might think. Since 1903, cocaine has been removed from the formula. The leaves are now decoconized. A chemical process extracts the alkaloid before using the leaves as flavoring. The leaves come from Peru, sun-dried in the Andes. They arrive in wax-sealed barrels. A company in New Jersey, the Stepan Company, processes the leaves, extracts the cocaine for pharmaceutical use, ships the rest to Atlanta. The coca flavor remains. The stimulant effect doesn't. But the newspapers don't know this, and the competition uses this secret to attack. Water makes up 94% of the soft drink. If the water's bad, everything's bad. In 1915, American cities don't have treated water like today. Cholera still kills. Typhoid fever is common. Coca-Cola can't take risks. Every bottling plant has its own filtration system. Tanks of coarse sand, then fine sand, then activated charcoal. The water passes through 3 layers before touching any ingredient. In some plants, the water comes from artesian wells. In others, from the municipal supply. The source doesn't matter. The process is the same. Filter, boil, cool. 1 gallon of contaminated water can destroy an entire plant's reputation. The bottlers know this. The gas that makes Coca-Cola fizz is the same one you exhale, carbon dioxide. In 1915, the gas arrives in steel cylinders weighing over 100 pounds each, compressed to 800 pounds per square inch. A leak can be fatal. The carbonation machine looks like a horizontal boiler. Ice-cold water enters from one side, carbon dioxide from the other. Pressure forces the gas to dissolve into the water. The colder the water, the more gas it absorbs. Coca-Cola is carbonated to 3.5 volumes of CO2. That means for every liter of water, 3.5 liters of gas are dissolved. Less than beer, more than regular sparkling water. Open the bottle and the bubbles escape. That shh sound is money evaporating. 1915. Coca-Cola has a problem. It's not the recipe, it's the bottle. Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, Coke, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. Dozens of imitators sell soft drinks in bottles identical to Coca-Cola's. Light green glass, straight walls, paper labels that dissolve in ice. When a shopkeeper reaches into a bucket of ice to grab a Coca-Cola, he can't tell one from another. The label's soaked, the shape's the same. He might hand over anything. Harold Hirsch, Coca-Cola's general counsel, has an idea, a competition. Glass manufacturers will create a new bottle, a bottle so unique you'd recognize it even if it were broken into pieces on the ground. April 1915. 8 glass manufacturers receive a challenge. The instructions are simple. Create a bottle that a person could recognize in the dark. A bottle no competitor could copy. A bottle that is Coca-Cola. The prize? An exclusive contract, millions of bottles per year. In Terre Haute, Indiana, a small glassworks called the Root Glass Company accepts the challenge. The president, Chapman Root, calls in his team. Alexander Samuelson, plant superintendent. T. Clyde Edwards, auditor. And Earl Dean, bottle designer. Dean has 24 hours before scheduled equipment maintenance. 24 hours to create an icon. Discovery. Earl Dean and Clyde Edwards go to the Terre Haute Public Library. They search for images of coca leaves and cola nuts. They find nothing useful, but they find something else in the Encyclopedia Britannica. An illustration of a cocoa pod, oval shape, vertical grooves, defined waste. Dean knows Coca-Cola doesn't contain cocoa, but the shape is perfect. Within hours, Dean sketches a design, a bottle with curves, wider in the middle, vertical flutes reminiscent of the pod's grooves. The bottle's waist evokes the tapered skirts fashionable in 1910, the hobble skirt, the skirt that binds the ankles. The team nicknames the bottle Hobble Skirt. It never loses that nickname. The first prototype has a fatal flaw. The waist is too wide. The middle of the bottle is fatter than the base. When placed on a conveyor belt, it tips over. In 1915, bottling lines already use conveyors. Unstable bottles mean broken bottles, glass on the floor, production stopped, losses. Dean recalculates. The waist needs to be slimmer, the base wider. The proportions change, but the silhouette remains. A new prototype is blown. This time it stands. It passes the tests. Chapman Root approves. In November 1915, the patent is filed, but without the Coca-Cola name, to keep it secret from competitors. Early 1916, a committee of bottlers and executives gathers in Atlanta. On the table, bottles from various manufacturers, different shapes, different colors, each one trying to be unique. The Root Glass Company bottle wins without contest. The chosen color is German green, an emerald tone with a bluish tint. After the war, when everything German becomes unpopular, the name changes to Georgia Green in honor of Coca-Cola's home state. 6 glass manufacturers receive licenses to produce the bottle. The first contour bottle hits the market in 1916.
By 1920, it becomes the standard.
To understand the bottle, you need to understand glass. In 1915, most bottles are still hand-blown. A glass blower gathers a ball of molten glass on the end of a tube, blows, rotates, shapes it with wet wooden tools. But the revolution has already begun. In 1903, Michael Owens patented the first automatic bottle-blowing machine. It sucks molten glass into a mold, blows compressed air, ejects the finished bottle. The Owens machine produces 1,000 bottles per hour. An experienced glassblower produces maybe 40. In 1915, half of American bottles are already machine-made. The other half still depends on human breath. The contour bottle mold is made of cast iron, two halves that fit together. Inside, the negative of the bottle. Every flute, every curve, every letter. Molten glass reaches 2,700 degrees Fahrenheit, incandescent, fluid like honey. An operator called a gatherer picks up an exact portion with an iron rod. He has seconds before the glass starts to harden. The glass portion drops into the mold. The halves close. Compressed air is injected. The glass expands, fills every detail of the mold. The letters Coca-Cola form in relief. The mold opens. The bottle emerges glowing with heat. It goes to a slow cooling oven called a layer. 12 hours to cool without cracking.
Before 1892, sealing a soft drink bottle was a nightmare. Cork stoppers dried out and leaked. Rubber caps ruined the flavor. Internal glass marbles were hard to clean. Wire clasps rusted. William Painter from Baltimore solved everything. He invented the crown cork cap, a thin metal disc with corrugated edges that crimp onto the bottleneck. Inside, a cork disc that seals the gas without touching the liquid. The cap is disposable, costs pennies, seals perfectly, and requires a tool to open, the bottle opener. In 1915, the crown cap is already the industry standard. 23 corrugated edges, exactly 23. That number never changes.
Step inside the bottling plant. The noise is deafening. Bottles clinking, machines hissing, steam escaping, men shouting. Bottles arrive in wooden crates. They're submerged in tanks of hot water with caustic soda to remove dirt and old labels, scrubbed by rotating brushes, rinsed 3 times. Then they go to the filling machine. In 1915, machines fill 4 to 6 bottles at a time. One operator places empty bottles on one side, another removes full bottles from the other. The syrup and carbonated water meet inside the bottle. The ratio is 1 part syrup to 5 parts carbonated water. The mixing happens at the moment of filling. The full bottle goes to the capping machine. A cylindrical magazine holds hundreds of crown caps. One by one, they drop onto the bottlenecks. A metal die descends and crimps the edges onto the glass. 23 corrugations, exact pressure. If the cap's too loose, the gas escapes. If it's too tight, the glass might crack. The operation takes less than a second per bottle. After capping, the bottle passes an inspector, a person, human eyes, looking for cracks, foreign objects, incorrect fill levels. Defective bottles go back for washing or to the trash. In 1915, an experienced inspector examines up to 80 bottles per minute, 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. Who works in these plants? Men mostly, to operate heavy machinery, carry crates, make deliveries. Women appear in inspection and labeling, work that requires patience and sharp eyes. The men wear heavy cotton pants, Work shirts with rolled-up sleeves, canvas aprons, cloth caps protect from the sun in loading areas, ankle-high leather boots. The women wear long skirts to mid-calf, white blouses called shirtwaists, hair pinned up in buns. Some wear caps to keep their hair away from the machines. The workday is 10 to 12 hours, 6 days a week. An operator's wage ranges from $1 to $2 a day. One $19.15 equals about $28 today. Close your eyes. Imagine being inside. Summer in Georgia exceeds 95 degrees. Inside the plant, near the carbonation machines and water heaters, over 104. The air is humid, smell of sugary syrup, steam rising from the washing tanks, the constant hum of CO2 compressors, the metallic clatter of caps falling, the dull thud of crates being stacked. There's no air conditioning, no industrial fans. Some plants have large windows, others are stuffy as ovens. Workers stop to drink water, sometimes Coca-Cola. The company allows it. 1 bottle per shift, no charge. Good for morale and for detecting taste problems. Let's be clear, 1915 isn't the 21st century. There are no disposable latex gloves, no mandatory hair caps, no metal detectors to find fragments. Workers wash their hands with regular soap. Bottles are washed with caustic soda and brushed, but microscopic inspection doesn't exist. If a fly falls into a syrup tank, it depends on someone seeing it. The Pure Food and Drug Act of 1906 requires manufacturers to declare ingredients and avoid adulteration, but enforcement is weak. Inspectors are few. The Coca-Cola company has its own interest in hygiene. Dirty bottles mean sick customers. Sick customers mean lawsuits. And in 1911, the federal government already sued the company over caffeine. The Coca-Cola company doesn't bottle Coca-Cola. Sounds strange? Let me explain. In 1899, 2 lawyers from Chattanooga, Tennessee, Benjamin Thomas and Joseph Whitehead, convinced Asa Candler, Coca-Cola's owner, to sell the bottling rights. The price? $1. $1 that Candler never collected. That contract created the franchise system. The Coca-Cola company manufactures and sells syrup. Local bottlers buy the syrup, add carbonated water, bottle it, and sell it in their region. In 1915, there are over 1,200 independent bottlers, each with their own plant, their own trucks, their own employees, united only by the syrup and now by the contour bottle. The bottles are full, the caps are crimped. Now they need to reach the customer. In 1915, transportation is changing. Horse-drawn wagons still dominate urban deliveries, but gasoline trucks are starting to appear. A typical delivery man wakes at 4 in the morning, loads wooden crates onto the vehicle. Each crate holds 24 bottles. A full crate weighs over 40 pounds. Routes are fixed. Grocery stores, pharmacies, restaurants, gas stations. The delivery man collects empty bottles, leaves full ones, notes orders for next week. A wagon delivers maybe 60 crates a day. A Ford Model T truck, adapted with a cargo bed, delivers twice that. 5 cents. From 1886 until 1959, the price of a Coca-Cola doesn't change. 5 cents. A nickel. How is this possible? Inflation, wars, depression, and the price stays the same? The original contract with bottlers fixed the syrup price. If the Coca-Cola company raises the price, bottlers lose margin. If bottlers raise the consumer price, sales drop. So the price freezes for over 70 years. In 1915, 5 cents buys a newspaper, or a streetcar fare, or an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Electric refrigeration is still rare in 1915. Most stores use ice. Natural ice, cut from frozen lakes in winter and stored in ice houses insulated with sawdust, or manufactured ice produced by ammonia machines in urban factories. In grocery stores, Coca-Cola bottles sit in zinc-lined wooden boxes. Ice blocks keep the temperature down. Meltwater drains through a hole in the bottom. This is how Coca-Cola is served, submerged in ice water, fished out by hand, opened with an opener chained to the counter. The sound of the cap coming off, the vapor rising from the icy bottle, the first sip. This ritual hasn't changed in decades. In 1915, nobody knows this bottle will become a global symbol. Earl Dean, the designer, gets a lifetime job at Root Glass Company, spends the rest of his career making bottles. The contour bottle he created in 24 hours will be produced in the billions. In 1949, a survey shows less than 1% of Americans don't recognize the bottle by its shape. In 1961, the shape is registered as a trademark, the first commercial package to receive that status. The formula remains secret. The plants have modernized, trucks replaced horses, but the silhouette remains. Curves of green glass, designed from a cocoa pod, inspired by a fashionable skirt, blown in 2,700-degree furnaces, filled with a liquid nobody fully knows. This is Coca-Cola, 1915, the year the bottle was born.